This podcast may contain paid advertisements, but more on that later. Welcome to the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast, your go-to resource for unraveling the intricacies of business and leadership, honing in on the essence of bootstrapping a business from scratch. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur, a dedicated bootstrapper, or a leader navigating life's various challenges, this podcast is crafted just for you. I'm Isaiah O'Connor, your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, and my mission is to guide you towards personal and professional growth. Let's embark on this journey together. As promised, I'm now finally tackling momentum, talking about what can kill your momentum and what you can do to prevent your momentum from dying. So, a few years back, I wrote a blog post, and I think I recorded a podcast episode about the idea of a flywheel and death spiral as explained by Jim Collins in his amazing book, Good to Great. To summarize, the flywheel, the thing that's really, really heavy that you spin up to smooth out machine operations or as an energy storage device, takes a long time and a lot of power to spin up. But once you spin it up, it can spin for a long time. Now, the death spiral is the opposite of that when you start doing things in your business or in your life that cause you to slowly spiral downward, aka the death spiral. Now, in my previous episode, I did a pretty good job about explaining the mechanics of this, but I didn't really get into the full nuts and bolts about it, so let's dive into that. Building the flywheel initially is an easy idea to grasp. You push really hard, you work long hours, and you focus on your goal. Early on, when you're excited, this is much easier to do. As you work through the honeymoon phase of your business, keeping it going is a bit harder. So let's look at some of the things that can start stealing your momentum. For example, complacency. Well, when you get the flywheel going, it's really easy just to relax. Hey, it's spinning now, business is going good, things are going good, I can relax now. Well, that is very, very dangerous to do because if you get complacent, you stop pushing. And the thing about the flywheel is even though it's easy to keep up with speed with small pushes, it's easy to just forget to spin it because it's going pretty good. And as it slows down, you might not notice it because things are going good, but it's kind of like a top because it's slowly losing business. And if you spin a top up really fast, it will spin nice for a while. But as it slows down, all of a sudden, it'll just flop over. And sometimes, if you get really complacent in your business, in your life, things will be going good, and you'll relax, you'll get complacent, and then next thing you know, you're falling over. You don't see it coming, it seems to be going good, because that momentum's going for a while. But once you lose a certain amount of momentum, you just flop right on over, and you just kind of slam the brakes on, and you just crash. I've seen this happen in my life, and I've seen it with a lot of other people and companies. Now, a part of that complacency is hitting a goal and stopping without making new goals. So you set a goal for yourself. I'm going to sell, say, 1,000 of my widget this month. And you work really hard, you sell 1,000 widgets, and you go, great, cool, I sold my 1,000 widgets, and then the next month you just keep selling stuff. You just don't set a goal, you don't say a new goal, and maybe you sell 999 widgets the next month. You don't think anything about it? Cool, you got pretty close, not quite 1,000, but that's okay. You met your goal last month. You don't set a new goal. It's 999 or 98, then 97. Then maybe it drops off quickly. But if you don't set new goals, you'll never progress. So you say 1,000 widgets this month, You hit that goal, okay, I'm going to sell 1,005 widgets next month. You hit that goal, you keep making new goals. Or sometimes you get to a limit of how many widgets you can sell in that month, but you can say, well, this month I've sold 2,000 widgets. My goal is to hire more people so I can sell more widgets now. So you can change the goals, but you always need to have something you're chasing. Because if you don't set a goal, as Zig Ziglar said, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. So hitting a goal and then stopping and not making any further goals, that's a big problem in getting you complacent, because now you're complacent, you hit your goals, you're feeling good, and you just stop. And that can completely destroy you. Another thing, even if you do keep setting new goals, is getting close to your goal and then slowing down and not pushing that last little bit through, and you lose some momentum, because maybe you get so close, you're going to get it, and you're so excited that you relax, and then your time frame for your goal passes and you didn't make it. And you may be okay with that, but you may feel, crap, I didn't hit my goal again. Should I even try again? And that can steal some of your oomph, some of your strength to continue on next time. For example, I've seen multiple races, skiing, running, in the Olympics, where the person in front who's coming up to this finish line is so excited that they're so far ahead of everyone else, they slow down, they start celebrating, they start waving at the crowd, and then the person in second place, or even once, I think I saw someone in third place, pushed even harder, saw the goal, and ran right past them and won. And the person who got complacent and got excited they were going to win lost, because they slowed down with the goal in sight. So let's try not to do that. It's an easy thing to do. It's a very human thing to do, because you're tired, you've been pushing, you see the goal, and you're really excited you're going to make it, but you got to keep pushing until you've actually hit the goal. Don't stop until you've hit that goal. And then set your next goal, push hard, don't stop until you hit that one. Okay, let's jump into the mid-episode break. So there are no new Apple 5-star reviews and no new patrons this week, which is absolutely fine. I just want to say thank you again. I really do appreciate you, those that listens. If you do like this show, if it does bring you value, please go ahead and give us a rating. That'd be great. Just put a good episode, there's different things you can do. If you're listening to this on YouTube, like the episode, subscribe to the channel, follow the channel, do everything you can. And if you think it can help other people, please share it with them. And also, please come join our community on Discord so that we can continue to build each other up in business. Okay, anyway, let's get back to this. Welcome back to the second half. Let's get back into this. So what's another thing that you can do to lose momentum? One of those things is stopping what you were doing before that got you to where you are. For example, I used to work at Radio Shack. And Radio Shack got really big and was a 100-year-old plus company that got big by selling parts, and their big focus was having knowledgeable people that could help you solve your electronic needs and questions at home. You had a question about why my flashlight's not working, why my computer's not working, anything like that. Their whole focus was the knowledgeable, friendly staff that could help you solve your electronic needs. However, when the market for electronic parts was started to shrink, as electronics started getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and less user replaceable and fixable parts came in, Radio Shack started suffering. So they could have taken a few approaches to this, one of which was to change focus and become experts in helping people learn how to deal with their new electronics, help them understand their new phone, their new iPod, music player, all this type of tech things, and help them set up installation files for, say, their police scanner, how to download new maps for the GPS, what have you. They could have focused and pushed that in their marketing that we're still the guys that can help you with your questions because we're knowledgeable. However, they decided to shift into a phone store and a little bit of a big box store, but really focused on wanting to be known as a phone store. Well, for the better part of 100 years, Radio Shack was known for being a parts store with knowledgeable staff. And shortly after trying to focus on becoming a phone store, they went bankrupt. I actually detailed the entire rise and fall of Radio Shack in a previous podcast if you want to check that out. So, stopping doing what made you great in the first place can destroy you in the long run. Back to that book, Good to Great. A lot of the companies featured in that book are no longer in existence, not because the Good to Great idea failed, but because they stopped doing the things that made them great. If you go on a diet, you lose a bunch of weight, that's great. But the diet doesn't fail if you go off the diet and you start eating a bunch of junk food. The diet still works, but you're not working the diet. Same thing applies. If you don't do what made you great to begin with, you'll lose momentum. Also, you can, actually, fittingly enough, you can burn out. If you start getting tired of what's going on, you can burn out. It happens with diets. That's why a lot of diets fail, is because the diet feels like, well, a diet. It's not a change in lifestyle. It's not something sustainable, and you burn out. You try the diet, only meat for a long time, for example, the carnivore diet, or whatever, or you try this diet or that diet or what have you, and most diets fail because it's just not sustainable because you get burnt out. And in business, especially if you're a bootstrapper, an entrepreneur, and you're doing this on your own, it's really easy to start getting burnout. I think that's a little bit of a reason why I didn't keep the momentum going in my business. It was hard to recover and start over again with the COVID thing, but at that point in time, I was kind of burnt out on the business end. Doing the balloons was still fun, but it's burnout. It's just worn down. And if you don't take time to take a break, then you may just burn out. And burnout leads to a loss of momentum. I did that with this very podcast. That large gap was I burnt out. I was trying to do a podcast. I was trying to do a blog. I was trying to do a video cast. And it just wore me out and I just couldn't do it anymore. So you may need to start cutting off some stuff, some responsibilities, focus on taking a break, go fishing, relax, go for a walk, do stuff to help with burnout. If you can, hire more people, get an accountant, do things you can to take the load off of you so you don't burn out and you can take the time to recharge. And then, of course, lastly, sometimes you just have external forces come out of nowhere and hit you. So for me, like I mentioned before, it was a combination of burnout and COVID. Because COVID was a massive momentum thief. In 2019, my business grew by about 40%. And I was on a roll. I was preparing to push further and expand more into the wedding industry. I had set up a great wedding show. I was at a wedding show. I had about 20 brides sign up for more information. I was getting excited. I was pushing. And then COVID hit. Not a single bride that signed up bought any balloons for the wedding because the weddings were postponed. Things were messed up. The whole event industry all but got shut down by COVID. And that really took the wind out of my sails. Sure, I pushed through. I did pretty good. I still made money during COVID. Not much, but I did. I didn't go bankrupt, and I didn't have to shut down. And I didn't go into debt either. But it just steamrolled me and the industry as a whole. The number one supplier of my balloons, Qualitex, a 108-year-old company, got knocked out of the business completely. They went bankrupt. Their supply chain had gotten so messed up, and everything else crashed them. Another guy I know, amazing balloon artist, much more skilled than me, bigger business than me, one of the best in the business, he was down by 30%. So the whole industry went down. I mean, even recently, Party City went bankrupt in the United States. So the whole party and event industry has been taking a hit as a whole. And these external factors can make it really hard. I mean, even another factor was the war in Ukraine for me, because my number one balloon supplier got the helium for me from Ukraine. So when the war came, I can't control that. My helium cost tripled. Went from initially around $200 a tank, then went up to about $300 a tank, and then all of a sudden it went up to like $600 a tank, which is over double, I should say. Not triple, but doubled. Really quickly. So I couldn't afford helium. I had to turn down a lot of clients that wanted helium. This also stole momentum. So all these external factors hit me all at once. And yeah, it took away my momentum. And it caused the burnout to go really quickly. It's a lot easier to burn out when you're working really hard and not seeing any results, even if those results are not based on your failure, but based on external things that are happening around you. So here's the question. What do you do to avoid losing momentum? Now, sometimes there's nothing you can do because, life just hits you. But what can you do barring crazy external factors? Well, first, you do the opposite of what caused you to lose momentum in the first place. For example, make sure you keep setting new goals. Make sure you stay true to what made you strong in the first place. And if you start getting burnt out, take a step back, perhaps hire more help so you can take a break. And lastly, if life hits you hard, you need to choose where to put your focus. Because when everything hit me in the business and I could not keep my business going, sure, I was still making a profit in my business. Sure, I still have clients asking me back and wishing that I didn't stop and missing my services. I had great client relationships. I had a pretty decent business, still making money, but not enough to provide for my family. And I was just lost way too much momentum to start over because I got to the point where I basically had to start over. So I had to make the choice. And if you lose momentum, you have to make a choice whether or not you want to start putting your effort and energy and strength back into spinning up that flywheel, or if it's better to let things go and start something else. In my case, because of health issues, because of just overall burnout, and some other changes in our life that's going on right now with my family. Nothing bad, but we got some pretty big changes coming up in our family that decided closing my business and reestablishing the business. Not reestablishing the business, but closing the business was the best plan. But instead, I decided to take my strength, energy, and effort and put it into the podcast as we're doing now. So I refocused my momentum to something else. Now, what can you do to keep up momentum? Basically, do everything do the opposite of everything we talked about before. So don't let yourself get complacent. Realize that when things are going good, you need to keep it going. You need to keep adding energy into the system, because if you do not keep adding energy, the system will slow down and stop. You need to keep setting new goals. You need to keep pushing through. You need to not get so excited that you get close to that goal that you slow down. Set new goals, push hard, kill that goal, set a new goal, kill that goal, and keep going. And then if you start feeling like you're getting really burnt out, take a break. Take a vacation, take a day off, do whatever you can to kind of just get yourself back into a better headspace to continue. You may need to hire some more help. Like I said, outsource something like your accounting, like say maybe your marketing, maybe your sales. If you can, do these things to take the strain off of you. That will help you from getting burnt out. And lastly, if life hits you hard, like I said before, you can choose where to put your focus. You can either choose to keep going in the hard position. You can close it down. You can fight through. You can start over. A lot of the biggest names in business, they suffered a few bankruptcies, one or two. They failed. They struggled. They chose not to keep pushing something that wasn't working, and they tried something new, and they hit it out of the park afterwards. So sometimes you just need to change where your focus is, go to a different flywheel, and start that one going, because now you have the energy and strength and know-how to do that and do it better this time. In conclusion, momentum is crucial to success, but it's fragile. Complacency, losing focus, and stopping the actions that got you moving in the first place can kill your momentum. Whether it's external challenges, burnout, or simply thinking you've made it, the key is to stay consistent, set new goals, and never stop feeding that flywheel. Life may knock you down, but the power to get up lies in your ability to adapt, refocus, and keep pushing, even if it means shifting gears or adjusting your focus. So stay vigilant, stay hungry, and keep that momentum going, because once it's gone, it's so much harder to get back. Now, remember, part of keeping momentum up, by the way, and avoiding burnout, something I didn't think of, is having people around you, supportive people, to help encourage you, to bounce ideas off of. And you want people that will encourage you, not drag you down. Maybe that should be another episode where I talk about who you surround yourself around with. People who encourage you and build you up. You need those people in your life to push through. And with that in mind, the Discord server is now free. I need to re-record my closing, but the Discord server is now free. You can come in. You can reach out to me. You can email me. Hit me up on the website. Whatever. I'm here for you. I want to try to build a group of entrepreneurs and bootstrappers that help each other out. So please come on in, talk about losing momentum, and and look at your business model, see what you can do if you're losing momentum to change this course. Anyway, I've been your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. If today's episode added value to your day, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment and consider giving us a stellar 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. Whether it's Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, or more. And remember, if you leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast, I will personally read it out in the next episode. To support the show, you can make a one-time gift by buying us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/bootstrap, donate through PayPal at paypal.me/IOCPOD, or make a contribution on our Patreon page at patreon.com/IOCPOD. Your support keeps the episodes coming. For even more content and exclusive perks, join our Patreon community at patreon.com/IOCPod. Patrons enjoy ad-free episodes, access to our private Discord server, early content previews, and a lot more. And here's an exciting offer. Get your free trial of our $5 a month Bootstrapper Community Explorer tier. This exclusive tier grants you ad-free content, Discord server access, and early content previews. Join us and be part of the inner circle. If you're feeling more generous, those who join tiers $25 a month and up will have a chance to be a featured guest on this podcast. A massive thank you to Wintergotten for generously providing the incredible intro and outro music at no cost. We appreciate their support. Be sure to check out Wintergotten's amazing work on YouTube at youtube.com/@Wintergotten. Until next time, I'm your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, Isaiah O'Connor, signing off. This is the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast, brought to you by Athos Business Solutions. For our companion podcast, the Athos Business Podcast, hosted by Jason St. Clair, along with past episodes and related blogs, visit our website at athos.com. That's ATHEOZ.com or theoz.com. Goodbye for now.